This is the exact capture location. Babies were being pushed away from their mothers, lassoed, netted.
You talk about pain, you should hear 30 or 40 whales screaming.
Their whole goal was to generate revenue. They gave her a show name. They called her Lolita. She's hurting and she's not getting the care she needs.
She's all alone.
They would make the decision just not to feed her anymore.
The first time I was in the water with her, you can't see past her face. She's huge. How can this whale be in this small tank? This is ridiculous. We gotta get down there.
We'll bring you home.
She's more than just a captive whale. She is our family.
There's a Native American tribe now claiming ancestral rights to this animal, and they wanted this animal back in her native waters where she belonged. That's a hell of a story. No one's ever told this story.
She's already been there 52 years.
Our great-grandparents, when they got taken off to boarding school, the savage was taken out of them. She went off to boarding school, and she's still there.
It's not hard to capture whales. What I think we've learned over time is how hard it is to put one back.
She's a corporate asset. We don't own her.
They never granted me permission on park grounds.
She's there. Can't hide a whale.
We have caused as human beings so much destruction, but there is hope.
How is she doing today?
Not great.
Hey everyone, welcome to our Sunday gathering for Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's Legacy. Today is April the 7th, and we are the day after the world premiere of the movie of the documentary Resident Orca. And we're going to be talking about that today. And let's go ahead and just check in with everyone, how everyone's feeling first, and then we can get into that. Sylvia, thank you for being with us. How are you?
I'm doing great. I went just totally delighted over last night's event. When Alejandro and I were sitting together, and when we were watching the movie, we were actually holding hands and crying. For the first time, as you know, I was there the night of her passing. Mm-hmm. And even now, so many months later, I'm still dealing with that. But last night, it felt very weird for me because for the first time, I saw it as an out-of-body experience. I was sort of looking at it from above, especially when the part of the film where the truck it's leaving the sea aquarium and people were crying and screaming. It was very hard for me because I was there. But aside from that, I was just so happy to be with you all and be part of such a nice event and our commitment to continue, fighting for her family, for other orcas in captivity. So I think that's the message that I got from the documentary, that there's still so much work to be done. There's so many other orcas that need rescue, and her family needs so much attention.
Thanks, Sylvia. It was I don't know. I don't even know the word. What it was. It was healing, but it was hard and
very hard. Very hard.
Even just sitting next to you at dinner afterwards, there was a silence of we all we all knew how each other were feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because usually when we all used to sit together, it was, okay, so what's coming up next? So what's the strategy? So what is happening? Right now, she is no longer with us in the earthy form. She's with us in the spirit, but she's not with us anymore. So the whole thing was like, okay, so what's coming next? So how do we, keep her legacy alive, and how we fight for her family and for other orcas in captivity? But yes, you're right. We were all in silence.
Yeah. Let's check in with our Pacific Northwest folks, and then we'll start talking about the specifics of the film. Christina, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm getting emotional just listening to Sylvia, so I can't even imagine watching the actual film. So with you guys in spirit, but yeah, it just needs to get out to the right people that need to see it, so we can get that work done and keep her legacy going. Yeah.
Deborah, how are you?
We're good. We're really, really good. I'm with Christina. You can feel the energy building back up, like literally feel it building back up. And she's the miracle whale, gonna change the world. So I'm so glad you guys were all there together as a family to honor Raynell, honor the Lumming Nation, honor each other, and I'm so happy for all of you guys. Thank you for being there.
Howard, how's it going?
I'm okay. I just wish I could have been there, but thank you, Sylvia, and all of you who were there for bringing the feeling, the impact of the premiere to us here. I look forward to seeing it someday soon, I hope, with many of you. Otherwise, all is well here. And by the way, we just got a report of 8 orcas in Bellingham Bay right now. So maybe they went to visit Lummi. I don't know, but
wonderful, Howard.
They're right there.
Wow.
Thought I'd let you know.
Were they transients or were they caught?
I'm sure they're transients, but they're not identified yet. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Excellent.
Awesome. Marcia, how are you?
I'm well, still sort of reeling from all the emotions yesterday. It was a day just filled with love and also, looking back at the sadness and tragedy around her life and all of that. But you could feel the energy of love for her through that building so strong. And we were just united in the fact that everyone there had so much love for this girl, Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's. It was just overpowering. Like, I'm exhausted from it a little bit, but I do think that because of that emotion, anyone that watches this film, I lived in Miami when I was younger, obviously, when I was with her. Children grew up with her, but they never knew how she got there. She was just there, and that she became part of their lives. To understand what it took to get her there and all of that really sort of ugly, what's under the rug stuff is now visible. That's so important for people, the local people here in Miami, to see and understand and take action on their own. So, it was really, really overwhelming, but it was really wonderful at the same time.
Christine, we're not getting into big details on the movie yet, but I want to welcome you to the screen and to, you were there yesterday as well. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. I'll just say quickly, I just want to say something about what Marcia said about just that cultural change is so important, and just looking forward to a better future, and people just being awareness.
Thank you. And Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, Raynell, thanks for coming on today. It's been a busy, I'm sure, really busy week for you with all the travel and stuff. So Thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Ska. I just can't express the love that you all have for her, and the people that viewed the screening had for her was overwhelming in such a beautiful way. And the fact that we had an elected official from Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, Charlene Alec, we had from my own tribal council, Councilwoman Rosa Reedy Jacobs, and of course for land acknowledgement, we had our good friend Samuel Tommy from Seminole First Nation. So just very honored that the support was there for her, acknowledging her culture, and from you all acknowledging the love that you had for her. You know, I had seen the entirety of the documentary, and it does what we intended it to do, and that's invoke emotion and to see the realness of what her life journey was.
It did that, and I feel like the film was so well done. So to Simon and Sharky, I mean, just wow. It was really, it was told in such a beautiful way from the opening statement, which, you know, I wish I had a photographic memory, because there was a statement on the screen at the very beginning that was so powerful. And someone fell off. I'm not sure who fell. It was so powerful. But I just want to share, you know, I got here Wednesday night. My daughter and I got here Wednesday night, and I want to say it was Thursday that we were running around and shopping and doing whatever we were doing. And I don't know, maybe it was Friday, but I was wearing my Center for Whale Research t-shirt. And I was in a store, and this lady, you know, young girl, young, probably in her 20s, said, you know, I've been really attracted to whales lately, and I've just been on this whale thing, and I'm going to go whale watching. And we started talking, and I told her about the film festival, and so she's going to be there. Her and her coworkers are going to be there on Tuesday. The film had already sold out for Saturday, but we were having this conversation, and she says, you know, we knew what you guys were doing, but people don't know what you guys were doing. Like, there was this idea that these people were going to free her, but we don't know, you know? And then they just had this whole conversation. There was 3 of them behind the counter, and there was these 3 young girls having this conversation about how, you know, they wish their parents knew better back then, and how nobody here wants that place to be open, and nobody here thought that it was okay that she was there. And so the journey for the film for me started with those conversations, you know, prior to even going into the theater. But let's talk a little bit about that. You know, maybe get people's kind of impressions overall. I know Sylvia kind of did that, or I mean, there were just so many parts that you talk about, Sylvia, how you and Alejandro were holding hands. I didn't know if I was going to break Marcia's fingers or if she was going to break mine, because we were holding on to each other so tight.
Yes.
Through the whole thing. And it, I'm glad I was, you know, sitting next to Marcia, and we were kind of feeding off of each other. Like, kind of, it felt like what we've been doing this entire last, you know, 6.5 months, is just holding each other up. And it felt like we were really doing that energetically throughout the whole film. Marcia, that was your first time seeing it as well, correct?
My first time, yes.
Yeah. What do you want to say?
You know, I just feel like it's a story that has been needed to be told for so long, for decades and decades, and that it finally is being told. I just want to cry when I say that, because I feel like she waited so long for her story to get told. And sadly, you know, as we all know, it had to be posthumously, you know, and I have to believe in my heart that her death is not going to go, you know, without this legacy behind her. That was the reason why she chose to go when she did. And she is going to change the world. And this is the first Now the door is open. This film broke that seal. The story is told now, and it's going to be shared, and the whole world's going to see what happened, what really happened. And I think it's going to change a lot of hearts and minds. And the pain that it brings to me, anyway, is just, it did rip open some scabs that we're trying to heal, but that's okay, because what we felt, our anguish about her death, pales in comparison to what she endured in her life. So I'm willing to take that pain again and again if I can share that story. I think it's going to really be more impactful than we can imagine right now. It's huge. And I love their storytelling, and through the Lummi lens and through you, Raynell, and just how all of it was woven together with tragedy and beauty at the same time. They managed to be able to do that, and I'm just really honored to be a small part of that.
It was her story, and there was an acknowledgement at the beginning about how people have been in this fight for a very long time, and the different lens to be able to watch that through. What it did for me, what was comforting for me, was when this gets out, and when it gets out more, it's who she is. There's this story, and people know this story of her capture, and people know this story of this orca at the Miami Seaquarium and how she shouldn't be in captivity, but you just can't. This showed who she is as a family member. This film showed who she is as a loved one. This showed who she is as a magical being, her culture, like who she is. And you can't relate to her, or even, in my opinion, have this idea of her story without knowing who she is first. And this really put the spotlight on that. And she was not some orca performing for people. She's Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, this family member, this wonderful, magical being. And so for me, that was really nice, because everyone has a different lens, right? If a documentary team followed each and every one of us, it would be this different thing. But when you saw and you saw the people being able to express what this was for them, and it brought you back to your relationship to that time. So there was some traumatic pieces for me, seeing other people's reactions to what was happening with her at that time. And it brought it back for me, but it was really important to be able to look at it from other people's lens, because she impacted so many people. But you can't even have an idea of what that's like for anyone without knowing who she is first. So Raynell and Ellie and everyone who you guys just did a wonderful job of sharing her culture. And so thank you very much for that, because you can't see her without knowing her.
Yes, when Raynell said that that she wore her orca regalia, that just touched me so deeply, because we're always talk about the human form and the family members that live under the waves, and that Raynell, that I just broke down when I heard that, because you just put it together so perfectly. It touched me deeply.
I cover that, Sylvia, but I was repeating what I was taught by our late Chief Sk'aliCh'elh. That's exactly how he told it to me.
Yes.
And that's the other piece of all of this, is ancestors and now her spirit have driven the direction. Who's there? Who's done what? These weren't new words. They were words from the ancestors that were given to us.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
I'd like to add quickly that, mostly at the after gathering, I just I like to people watch and look around the room and see the dynamic. And I was doing that, and the room was absolutely filled, but it was the most diverse collection of people you could imagine. Old people, young people, people of all color, all creeds, all different backgrounds, all in one place and connected by one individual, and that's Toki. You know, she did that. That's her thing. And man, it was in full view yesterday. Like it brought me to tears just sort of gazing around the room like, wow, look at this web of interconnected people that now all share the same story. And that web will go out, and that web will go out. You know, that's her intention. I'm so happy that to see it live like that was really, really cool.
It's live like that right now, right here on the screen and off the screen, really. That's the Toki magic. She's just
right. And, you know, I also wanted to add, as far as like who Toki is, you know, Howard, I'm sure you have the yellow heart near you someplace. Those attributes are just, that's her. And I really love the personhood identity that the movie shared, right? Love, grace, trust, empathy, kindness, beauty, humor, friendship, compassion, and forgiveness. And I couldn't fit them all on, I'd need a really big place to write all of them, but thank you, Howard. So lovely. But those things came through in this film. So personhood, I think, is a big part of this. You know, it's how people will be able to relate so strongly to her. And so I'm grateful that they, through their storytelling, managed to push that through in such a beautiful way.
Right. It also did that for her family, you know, talking about Ocean Sun and really, again, if you just think of these animals and you're just thinking of these random humans, you know what I mean? Like, but when you know who that person is, you have a better, you can relate with that person. And you know, my bestie and I were sitting on the sand just actually not that long ago, and I'll just tell you, I've been in a space. I have been in a space since watching it, and we were out there, and she was saying, you know, it's like she was asking me if I've gone through the anger phase yet, you know, grief, and I was telling her how it hasn't been in steps. It's been this swirl of every little thing you can deal with in grief. You know, it's like all in a day, you know, or all in 10 minutes, you know, sometimes feeling all of it. But it's like, it's not something you can ever just get over, because it's not, what did my friend say? She says, it's not just, you know, like, so it's family. It's your family member. It's that one person who can heal from that, but you'll never forget that person, because that's, you know, who that is for you. And it was just the way she said it, you know, it was probably much articulated much better, but it really rang true for me. And it's okay to continue to be in these spaces, and it's okay to continue to heal. And, you know, Marcy, we talked about it before. If you feel like a wound's being opened, it's just an opportunity for deeper healing. And this really brought that. This brought some deep healing. It was really well done. I just can't say that enough. It was really well done.
Yeah.
Christine, is there any, would you like to share kind of your, you know, overall, you know, maybe you brought some people with you, right? And I don't know how well they know her story, but.
Yeah, they didn't know. They did, because as soon as I meet somebody, I tell them. So, you know, but they learned a lot, and they said that, you know, that it was informative, it was educational, and I'm sure it was cultural for them to get to see something that, you know, they're not around most of the time. And so I think that was an insight to the normal people that don't, you know, they're not following this all the time. And so, and you see that in them, you see where they come to that new understanding, where they look at things differently. Maybe they have prior experience at parks and things similar to that. And then they're just learning. It's a learning process. And then you see them go through that, and you see them making that cultural change, making that, learning. It's all about learning, and making a change for the future. And I absolutely feel that that's exactly the way things are going to go. I just know that it's emotional, and to watch someone go through that change is emotional. Especially me being a teacher and I watch learning every day, and so it's emotional for me to see that learning process. So it's hard for me, yeah. But it's wonderful at the same time, and it's what we all strive for, right? To teach and for people to learn, because that's what it's going to take.
Right.
I kind of want to say, sadly, I have to jump off and we're doing a family meal thing, so I can't stay on too long. But I think, we're all struck with this fact that we're pulled together by her magic, or whatever we want to call that. And it's to figure out, what do we all see as her legacy? What is that? What's the best place? How do we take action? We need to. And I think sometimes it can feel difficult. Like, where do we focus that on? And so moving forward, this film really leaves that on your lap. Like, okay, what are you going to do now? We need this call to action. So I'd really love to see what everybody's thoughts are. What do you guys think her legacy means to you? Because it's subjective almost, from our own lens, right? And maybe that's a question first for Raynell. Like, what does that mean to you and your people?
Well, I always go to Witchick, my sacred place of prayer, and it's our ancient village site. And she's been very clear in communicating with me, in particular this Saturday before I went. I was up there praying, and she came across very loud, very strong, and repeated it to me. She told me, speak louder, work harder. And she kept saying that, speak louder, work harder, save my family. And, that was really, I think, her intention all along. When the ancestors called her home and she went willingly, was to save her family. It was that sacrifice, saving her mother and the rest of her relatives with the Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, the southern red killer whales. And I think it even goes beyond that. She loves so many people, so many beings. And I think that part of the sacrifice of her death played a big role with Mayor Cava and Commissioner Regulado sending that termination letter to Miami Seaquarium, because there's still 500 beings that are there, from penguins to birds to dolphins to manatees, and they're all sick. They're all suffering. But I don't think the termination of the lease would have happened if they didn't witness so recently her death. It elevated it.
It most certainly did. And I'm going to do a little soapbox and then I have to hop off. I'm so sorry. Just from my perspective, I think that her family is the first priority, obviously.
Yes.
This is just my opinion kind of piece here. Obviously, that's the first priority. We have to clean up the Salish Sea. We have to breach those dams. We got to get the salmon back. They're sitting on the precipice of extinction right now. I mean, there's no time. I have this vision of them like sand just dripping through this hourglass. Yeah. And we don't have the time to fool around, so that's the big one. But then by extension, right, all Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, right, in the whole world. And so there's Shamenk, there's Naya, and there's, other whales suffering in concrete too. And it goes farther than that. And there's dolphins, and it's like ripples in a pond, and I think Toki sees all of them as her family. Among people too, I think we're all part of her unique familial, web of life. So if there's a way we can throw those things into this legacy piece and bring some attention more to her family, obviously, we have to save her family. That's first priority. But then there's the next web, right? There's these other animals. And so that's sort of my take on what her legacy is. And I'd love to hear everybody else's before I have to hop. And I'm just going to pick a person. I pick Howard.
The film represents Toki's life, her whole being, and as she always did, and as I'm hearing from all of you who were there, the film it brings out our hearts and our sentiments and our best selves, and everything that everyone has said has had a heavy impact on me. You've all addressed, facets that I think about, that are all part of this huge being that is Toki and her legacy and everything that ripples out from her. I just really appreciate you all coming. I haven't seen the film now, but now I've felt it. I've had my heartstrings plucked for sure by hearing your responses to it. So thank you. That's really all I can say is thank you for bringing the film to me in that way. And Toki's legacy is so vast. It's going to be hard to sum up in any way. But this all, everything that was said here should be in a poetry book. I mean, it should be somehow noted. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you all for bringing it home.
Thank you, everybody. And it was such a pleasure seeing all your faces. And I'm sad I have to leave, but I love all of you. And I'll see you Tuesday, Reno. And
Yes,
Sylvia
I
also
saw that.
Tuesday. I'm not sure if anybody else watching or whatever will be there, but I hope so. And I'd love to have a full theater Tuesday night as well. So much love to all you guys.
Love you, Marcia.
I love you people.
Thanks, Marcia. I think that's an important question is the legacy and looking at, and because we did talk about this, it's captivity, it's her family, it's, the salmon, it's all of this. Sylvia, to you, what is her legacy mean to you? Like we said this, that I think we said this last night, is we're all brought together for a reason. And it wasn't to stop. So what's next for you and fighting for in her name?
I will always be fighting. It's my nature. It's just me. I just wanted to share something with you before I forget. I remember when I visited Raynell in the hospital. She was telling me that the spirit leaves, I believe, like 3 days.
Fourth night
after passing.
Yes.
And for you ladies that are still in Miami, pass by the sea aquarium, and you will understand that she is no longer. I remember when, and I used to pass by, I always felt this heaviness passing by because she was there, because she was suffering. And that doesn't take away the fact that other animals are still in captivity. But we're talking about her spirit. And if you pass by the sea aquarium, you will realize that it's empty. That heaviness isn't there, because she has moved on, her spirit, and that is something that has helped me heal well. Her legacy, it's everlasting. We are never gonna stop fighting for her family, for the other ones who are still in captivity, I was actually talking to Charles last night, and he was explaining a little bit what he was trying to do. So there is so much work to be done. There is so much suffering still out there. There's so much cruelty, and we all need to, stay together and strategize and continue moving her work forward, because we are all they have. We're all they got. They don't have a voice. We are their voice. So we must continue to, this battle. We must continue moving forward. They have no one else but we're our voice, and obviously our work through actions. So so that's I just wanted to share that with Raynell about the passing on the fourth day, the spirit leaving the body on the fourth day. And as I always say, like sailors say, onward we go, all hands on deck. We move forward.
Awesome. Thank you, Sylvia.
Mm-hmm.
They at the beginning of was it the beginning, the end? I'm not sure now. But Raynell and Simon and Sharky and acknowledged people who have been in this fight for a long time, and they asked advocates and prayer warriors to stand up to be acknowledged. And I was towards the front, so it felt a little weird because everyone's looking behind your head. But to stand up, but there was this whole wave that came through, and I just want to share that with you guys, because when I stood up, it wasn't because I was being acknowledged, it was because all of you were, and I stood up for all of you. I just want you guys to know that. Those that weren't there, Howard, you stood up with me. Christina, Deborah, you guys stood up with me, Maria and Paula and Cindy and everybody, everyone as this massive group of beautiful people with 50,000 different views, but all for the same goal, was because everyone wanted what was best for her. That's what I stood up for. And I just want you guys to know that. So you were there and you were acknowledged.
Yeah.
I want you to know that.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate that, Annette, because I really wish I could have been there. I really do, with all of you. And I'm just so emotional just listening to you guys. It's like, whoa, I can't imagine actually being there watching it, but I really wish I was there with you all. But I appreciate you being there and standing up for us, because that means a lot.
Yeah. Well, I didn't write your name on my arm. Christina writes my name on her arm at every event she goes to that I can't be there with her. But I promise you, your energy was there. And, because we're all one, and we were made to be one, all in this love for her. And so you guys were all there, you guys were all there.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't think I was going to be crying so much.
Oh, I knew I was going to be crying when I started getting ready for, it's just, like I said, I've been in a space, but it's been, and it's not like it, because it did show all those things, like Marcia said, it showed her bravery and her fun side. And it showed, just all those wonderful aspects. The film was all of it. And I'm just in my own little space at the moment of where I am in my healing, and and there's parts that I think about in the film and I smile, because it did show her beauty, her grace and all of that. So again, Simon and Sharky, just well done, just very, very well done. Deborah, check in with you.
Sorry, I have to keep muting my mic, with this zoo that I live in. I'm crying a lot today too, and Toki's legacy, family, friends, everyone around the world, open your heart and listen. and she'll give you a job. She'll give you a gift to help her and help her family and help dogs and help the environment and teach little children and stand up for the next 7 generations. Honor her life and her legacy and all that she is by opening your heart and helping each other to help them, to help the planet. And I promise you, the more you open your heart, the more the gifts are going to compound in. And it's going to be more than you can almost bear. But the more that you do and give and fight for them and each other and the planet, it's a gift beyond measure. And every time she gives me a gift, I'm just overwhelmed. And love you guys.
Love you.
Sylvia mentioned, the Alejandro, and he's bummed that he can't be here. He did have a mandatory thing he had to be at, which is why he's not here. But Alejandro was there, of course, and Louis and Alma was there, and Casey was there, and all those people are traveling at the moment. But it really was just this. From all the different, Eric Taylor was there, Robert Mendes was there. I mean, it was just all over different places of the theater. And it was just buzzing with love.
Right.
The overwhelming feel of all of it was love. And we all know why that is, because that is her. So with all the emotions, the overwhelming piece of that entire room was just this massive love. And
wow.
She is love. That's why.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's her. That was her. She was present and it's this massive being of, this powerful, amazing being that she is. That was the energy in that room. So she was absolutely there.
Yes.
And right now, you guys just, again, it was just beautifully done to show her, just I'm gonna circle back to you. I'm gonna circle back to you again, because I know, you just, again, you came from speaking somewhere else. You came into that. There's this energy that I know you are getting refilled as well, because that you carry a lot. We carry a lot when we're holding that space for other people. But I just want to thank you, again, and see what else you want to share with us about next steps. Do we know people are asking? Everyone wants to see it.
Well, Aishka, Annette, and what you do is really important. Is you're always thinking of a way to promote in a gentle but loud way, which the shirts that you created with her tale and breach the dam, save her family, was perfect because we all wore them. So there was that common thread by something as simple as a t-shirt, but as powerful as a statement. And the other thing that I want to say is through this process over 4+ years of Simon and Sharkey following us and their love for her, their respect and honor for the Lactamish people just grew in abundance. And it came so clearly through the editing, through the music, through, what the final version was. Because I can't even imagine being an editor looking at 4+ years of film. And there were through these years so many blessed moments, so many heartbreaking moments, so many critical moments, but they had the job of narrowing it down to like an hour and 37 minutes of her life. And they did that so brilliantly. Part is their real skill, but a bigger part is their heart. As I said, and I'll say it again, it was their love for the Lactamish people, the respect, their love for her, their real desire to have this documentary make a difference Not just tell a story, but be impactful.
Right.
And that really clearly is what, she's been telling me through prayer is save our family. We know they're hungry. We're hungry for Chinook salmon. So you go, what's the best thing to do? It's breach those 4 lower Snake River dams now. And when I say that, who do I see? Christina. I hear her. And we're going to collaborate and work with the Nez Perce, learn from what Klamath did to bring their salmon back. And we're going to join and collaborate, and it has to. And that's how we approached her. It has to happen. It has to happen for her. Has to happen for her family. Has to happen for salmon. And when you make those kinds of statements with conviction and belief, it happens. It happened for her.
Oh, thank you, Sk'aliCh'elh. Those are music to my ears, because that's what we need to do. Absolutely. And all together, because that's how it works, and that's how we're going to do it. So yes, let's breach those dams.
Yep. We need to do that for her family. It's because of us. I was thinking about this earlier, Sylvia, when you said, it's we're all they have, and we're all they have because we did that.
Yeah.
We did that. We took them from each other and put them in different places, and we, just destroyed so many lives with our greed that it is up to us. We have to do that. We are all they have, and we created that. We created that. They didn't need us to come in and interfere and do all the things that we've done, and it's up to us. It's our obligation, to do all we can for them.
Right. Like you were saying last night, like this small percentage of people are the ones damaging everything they touch. And remember, we had that conversation last night?
Yeah.
Yes, this percentage, just like super small percentage of people are controlling everything. They're giants. But I think our voices are giant as well.
Absolutely.
And we're going to keep it going.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Thank you for saying that. And it's all money. Like, it just comes down to the things that most of the things people are doing. It's for money. It's sad, and we're better than that. We're better than that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then there's Deborah Aller. She's commenting too. And when you say breach the dams, that's who I think of too. Just all these very, very powerful voices.
Mm-hmm.
Where next right now? So we know there's a showing here on Tuesday. Do we know yet any other film festivals or any other options for folks to be able to watch?
Well, there's actually a lot happening behind the scenes, because yesterday was viewed. We're very grateful that it was a successful screening. And, we believe that the momentum will continue with the 9th viewing. And with this kind of love and support from such a diverse group of people, will help other festivals want to embrace, this documentary, because our whole goal, Howie, is to get it in Seattle. That's her home, her community. So Seattle is one of them that we've already submitted it. The decision was made that the letter asking for, accompanying our submission came from me. To just talk about the tribal connection, talk about the collaboration, talk about how Indigenous and non-Indigenous people came together, and the spiritual effect of ancestors clearing the path and bringing diverse people in to make the movement happen. Because you look at this screen, would you have picked each of us to hold hands and be heart to heart? Probably
This is
not.
Toki's legacy right here.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
What you were saying about the at the theater, that there is such a wide, diverse audience of people who are taken in, who are part of, who are now in the heart wave that is Toki. Um, they're we're resonating together. We're all in the same force field of hers, and it's beautiful. Well, I will be there in Seattle when it comes. Absolutely. Um, yeah, uh, th- this is her legacy coming to life, and it's so vast. We have to somehow represent the Whale Center in Langley. We're in talks, but how do you have a display, a presentation? It's so far beyond. We can only hint at what it is. So I just, yeah, at a loss.
And just so you know, I heard from our friends across the pond, and even though they weren't here in Miami last night, they weren't watching the documentary, I've been told that they felt her messages coming through. They obviously they knew it was happening from 5:30 through 7:30 or so, but they didn't see anything. They weren't watching the documentary, but they felt her messages coming through. They felt her love. They felt our presence all together. So yeah, this just like her tentacles just reach everywhere.
Awesome.
Her spirit is so strong right now, and that's why I think she was telling me last Saturday, speak louder, work harder. And I kind of thought I was working hard. But then
Oh, you are.
You are. Of course you.
And I know why she said that, because I was really unclear about doing the George Washington Law School presentation. But she just really reminded me that, our young people need to be told her story. We need to spend the time to educate them and bring them along, because a couple of us on the screen, we're going to depend and hand the baton over at some point to young people. But if they don't know the history, they don't know the cause, they don't know the fight, they don't know the losses, because the losses have been great.
Yes.
And if we don't want that repeated, then it's our job as matriarchs and elders to bring the young people along, really much like what Ocean Sun does as the matriarch of her pod. She is still working. You don't see her floating around on her back going, oh, and now it's my time to, relax and let be. She is still training those young mothers. She is teaching them how to take care of their babies. She is hard at work, and Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's requiring that, and I'm going to really work hard on speaking louder and just working harder.
Yes, yes. And speaking of being louder, actually, and Toki's legacy, I'm really planning another event for Breach Now, right in now, and I'm looking for people that can speak loud and do lots of things. I'm looking for a planning committee, because I really want to make a huge event, huge one. And so I really literally need a planning committee. So I'm looking for volunteers, anyone who's willing to help us with this. It's huge. We need to do this. So the more people that we have and the louder they are, that's great. And that are willing to give up some of their time to help me plan this, because I will definitely need help. So
Sign me up,
message me,
Christina.
please. Thanks, Howard. I always can count on you. So yeah, keep that in mind. Send me a message, and we'll be talking about that probably some more next week too. But I just wanted to put that out there because it's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And
well,
it's
it was
obviously
definitely on her mind.
Yes,
that's what I was just
gonna say.
I think that message was meant to be shared with all of us, because we can all speak louder and we can all work a little harder. So thanks for sharing.
But the truth of it is, I have never had her so firm and direct with me. And I felt so happy, because at first I was a bit taken back, like, I can hear you, I'm working, I'm doing, and then you really let it resonate and you go, you're right. She has a real sense of urgency right now, because her family doesn't have an unlimited amount of time. And you can see in the documentary, it was stated more than once, we don't have unlimited time for her. We may have the financial resources, but we didn't have unlimited time for her. And that's the same with her family. And so by being blessed with Simon and Sharky and their skill and their love for her, their honor and respect to Indigenous people, particularly the Lactamish people, her family, her culture, is what is bringing this to such a. I look at Deborah when I think of Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's garden, the big blooms, the ever colors, and how it all comes. That's what's going to happen with this legacy for her. That's what I see.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for that visual.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. And you have some folks wanting to hop on, Christina, and help. So we'll send you, Brandy O'Bray wants to help, and some other folks. So yeah, get in touch with Christina, guys, to do that. We're at the hour. I think if there's a message to be left with, speak louder and work harder, guys. Someone said, Cindy said, Raynell, that when you said, she's being real firm, someone said she's supervising.
Yeah.
And she's orchestrating what's happening, and she's up with Ken and Hugo and others and saying, okay, this is what you guys got to do. It's what you guys got to do.
Yeah. So I love you. If I'm going to speak firmer and louder, don't get it all personal about it. I'm just doing as I'm being guided by Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's.
If we start yelling at you guys, then, it's
with love.
We'll yell with love.
Yeah.
I just want to give everyone an opportunity to say bye. An hour is never enough. But I do want to try to keep this. We'll wrap it up. We're just going to keep doing what we do. So Howard, final words.
Well, appreciation to you all, and new awareness that we are going to speak louder and work harder. And I think this is sort of a new landmark event. This is a new growth time in Toki's legacy. It's going to go further and wider, and more people are going to be brought into her heart wave, into her love field. So this is really good to hear. Thank you for bringing us the feeling of the movie.
Awesome. Thank you. Sylvia?
Yes. Gratitude, love, light, sparkles, blue waves. That's what she is, and that's what she wants us to be, and continue working for her and for her family, So there's no time to waste. Like Raynell said, we're not gonna sit down and wait and see what happens. As I said, all hands on deck. Here we are hard at work. Love you all. And I'll see you Raynell on Tuesday.
Bless you for coming. You don't even know how much I appreciate the support.
We're all gonna be there with you.
Christine?
I want to say education and diversity. I'm glad that Marcia brought that up. I think that those two things together, because it needs to be everybody. It needs to be all people and awareness to everyone. And I think that that is how that's a powerful message, you know, and that it's just so powerful when you have all people working together, all people have the same understanding. There's just nothing bigger than that, and I just think that's how it's going to go. I just think that's how it's going to go. That's how it's going to work.
Thank you. Deborah?
You know what? Toki love, Toki magic, bring on the miracles, girl, because they're on the way. Love you guys.
Love
Thank
you.
Thank you. Christina.
Yeah, I just have to say this because Raynell said it and then you said it, and I had the dream of Toki just before you all left that she was the orchestra. She was leading the orchestra, and then somebody said orchestra, so I was just like, and that's what she was doing. She was orchestrating what we were to do, and it's obvious that that was the message for all of us. I just wanted to say that, and I love you all, and thank you for bringing the film, and please volunteer for the planning committee because we need to make a really big one and breach these dams. So thank you.
Awesome. I love all of you guys so much. It's the time message, you know, we didn't have the time that we thought we would. And so, you know, we learn from every advocacy thing that we do. We learn something from it, and we need to keep moving forward and keep moving forward and keep working and keep trying, and we will. Right now, final words from you before we close. Oh, I do want to ask, someone was trying to clarify, is it for sure going to be in Seattle, or we're
No,
still?
we just submitted the documentary. They go through a selection process, you know, to identify which films. But clearly that we're up still for 2 awards here at the Miami Film Festival. We had a successful world premiere. If, you know, the momentum continues and the 9th is really good, all of that helps us get into other festivals. So if you know anybody on the Seattle International Film Festival Board and Commission, give us the prayer and send it off and tell them they have to allow it. This is for her community, her people. And I do want to close with just repeating what she told me. It was so strong, so clear, multiple times. Speak louder, work harder.
Awesome. We love you guys. We'll leave you with that.